Hello. Oh, yeah. Let's try. Yeah, I think we're on live. Let me just double check. Anybody watching the show? Okay, I think we're on live. So, hello everyone. Yeah, okay, this is Nick here. This is my NickTalk show. First time in English because I feel the need, the urgency that some of us should talk about this case in English in order to let the English world people to understand what is happening here with the MilesGUO bankruptcy case. And for the past 2 days, this thing is the only thing that is circulating in my head, and I cannot even start to continue my NickTalk show in Mandarin. So that's why today there was no plan that I'm gonna do this in English. But like an hour ago, I was still checking about on the news what is happening today, and I would like to share the news with my audience in Chinese. But I just couldn't do that because this case is very, very huge that it cannot get out of my head, and I think I have to do something about it, especially in English, because this is related to the English world. It happens in the United States, and you guys are living, especially the citizens of the United States, are living in the free world, enjoying the rule of law, enjoying the democracy. But the CCP has already infiltrated deeply in your system, and MilesGUO is somehow sacrificing himself as a bait or convoy in order to fishing those corruptions and to reveal that to the whole world. And I feel the obligation to spread these kind of voices. I'm not actually fighting for him only. I'm actually fighting for ourselves, fighting for myself, because one day, especially for myself, I have a plan to go to the United States. And ever since I was a child, I look forward to a place where you guys, you have the democracy and justice and all of that, where we don't have inside of the the mainland China. But somehow you let the CCP infiltrate it in your system, and the similar things is happening now in your territory in the United States. Maybe some of you still don't know what is happening, what is going on here, and that's why I feel the need that I need to talk about it, especially in English. So let's get to the point. Basically, this is a case where if you don't know who MilesGUO is, just search his name on Gettr, and then you will understand he was the founder of the new federal state of China, and he is the leader also of the whistleblower movement. And other than that, he is well known as the number one enemy of the CCP. And if you watch the War Room, you would hear a lot about him from Steve Bannon because Steve Bannon was also the co-founder of the new federal state of China. So basically the case is that the CCP, the Communist China, the Communist Party, Chinese Communist Party, is using the lawsuit litigation as a weapon, as a weapon against MilesGUO. So they were supporting like more than 74 lawsuit cases against him. using this as a method to exhaust MilesGUO, to somehow they're trying to use this to take down MilesGUO. If only one of these cases, one of these 74 cases, they succeed, then they might be able to take MilesGUO down using the weapon of, of the law in the United States. So this case is about the PAG, Pacific Alliance, which is a spy company of the CCP, and they are managing tons of money in the Western world, led by a guy named Sanwei Jian, and he's definitely a spy of the CCP. If you check, his profile on Gettr, you will get a lot about that. But today, what we are going to talk about is the bankruptcy case, where in the bankruptcy cases, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, appointed a lawyer to be the trustee of MilesGUO as personal assets. And this trustee should be a third party which have no interest of conflicts with either the plaintiff or the plaintiff and the defendant. Yeah, the defendant, MilesGUO. But actually, if you watch through this show, this program, this episode, you would understand how corrupted is the system of this justice system, where they appointed a guy who is basically on CCP's payroll, to be the trustee of MilesGUO's personal assets, meaning that this so-called trustee, who should have been a third party who has no interest of conflicts with both party, but this law firm has countless ties with the CCP, with the PAG, with the enemy of MilesGUO. So let's get to the presentation. Okay, this presentation is not prepared by me. It's by the whistleblower movement members. I don't know who, to be honest, but if we go through this, you would probably understand what happened. So MilesGUO Chapter 11 bankruptcy case, U.S. trustee appointments. Before that, I just want to give a few sentences about why MilesGUO need to do this bankruptcy, because in the previous lawsuit, he was required to pay like 150 million US dollars within a few days as the fine. I think it was the fine. But in the real world, nobody can do that. But that is the requirement from the court. So that's why there's nothing he can do but to apply for bankruptcy. Okay. So on 30th of June, DOJ appointed the first trustee, Joe Whiteley, in MilesGUO's Chapter 11 bankruptcy lawsuit. And this guy seems to be very, very fine. He was a general counsel of the United States Department of Homeland Security. But interesting and weird thing is that a week later, on 7th of July, DOJ withdrew Joe Whiteley as the trustee due to the conflict of interest and appointed a new trustee named Luke Dispens, who is currently a partner working at Paul Hastings LLP in New York office. But the problem comes. This guy who claimed that he has no interest of conflict, let me show you. So many people, right? it's all my friend here. So this guy he swear that he has no conflict. As you can see, this is the a document from the court, that he has a declaration of disinterestedness of himself, and basically, I don't want to go through every sentence, but I will just show you guys. This is the declaration that has been signed by himself, saying that he has no interest. You can see here, this is his signature, that he said that he has no interest of conflict with both parties, and the schedule of the parties in interest is here. Like the first one is Pacific Alliance, Asia Opportunity, Golden Spring, New York, and all these names. So these names are somehow all have conflicts with MilesGUO. So these guys, as basically, if you go through the names, I know that because I know the history. So these are all those names that I have already mentioned in those 74 lawsuits initiated by the CCP against MilesGUO. So these are all the names. And Luc Dispens declared that he has no interest of conflicts with all those parties. But let's see what's the real situation here. Oh, not this one. Sorry. Go here. Yeah. See here? So the law firm that Luc Dispens represented has actually have done a lot of businesses with those parties which have definitely conflict of interest against MilesGUO. So Paul Hastings led PAG makes 671 million bid for spring right. These happened in 2018, which means Paul Hastings as a law firm was the representative. I mean, the PAG was the client of Paul Hastings. Paul Hastings represent PAG in this case, and in this case alone, Paul Hastings earned 671 million US dollars. That's a huge town of money, right? So this is a direct conflict of interest of Paul Hastings with MilesGUO cases, because MilesGUO in his broadcasting, which by the way, if you know about him, you know that for the past 5 years, he basically broadcasts every single day. He talked about what is happening in the mainland China, what the CCP has done against the world, what evil have they done, and what kind of espionage that CCP is doing in the United States, especially with this guy. This picture here shows you San Wei-jian, which is the top spy of the CCP, and he was the leader of the PAG group. So that's why MilesGUO in his broadcast in the past 5 years talking about this guy every day, almost every day. Okay, not every day, not literally, but he talks about him once in a while. So the Paul Hastings lawyer, Luc Dispens, declared that he has no conflict after a thorough check together with the Paul Hastings law firm, that he has no interest of conflict with these party. But here it shows you that they have a direct conflict of interest between the law firm and the PAG group. And that's why I say that the Paul Hastings was on CCP's payroll. Another case that I want to show you, another example that I want to show you is that, see here, the law firm, okay, let me check. Yeah, the law firm Paul Hastings has countless ties with the CCP, including various business dealings. I don't want to show you all those business cases Are we here? Sorry. Here. I don't want to show you all the cases. If you go to their website, you would see that, this is another 1.6 billion acquisition case between the law firm and Ping An Group, which, by the way, Ping An is also the, the Chinese Communist Party controlled, a group, insurance company, which, it's a state-owned company, and is definitely directly controlled by the CCP, which also have been mentioned by MilesGUO in the past 5 years, every now and then. So let's get back to my Gettr post. So what's shocking me is that while I was doing the investigation about the connection of the relationship between the Paul Hastings law firm and the CCP, I somehow found that the partner of this law firm, one of the partners, whose name is Yan Jia, this guy, let me show you. This guy was the student of the top CCP leader in mainland China, named Wang Huning. If you check who is Wang Huning, you would know that he is the, top leader of the Chinese Communist Party, which, by the way, MilesGUO was the #1 enemy of Chinese Communist Party. He was famous for that. He was well known by that. And Wang Huning is the member of CCP's Political Bureau Standing Committee, which is the top decision-making body of the whole organization. So this guy here, partner of Paul Hastings, was the student of CCP's top decision maker. And that explains why somehow Paul Hastings earns most of his money from China market. And every single case here you can see is big money. And every single case that they represent, the client is the top state-owned company who is controlled directly by the CCP top members, which has been broadcasted by MilesGUO over and over and over and over again for the past 5 years. And that's exactly why we, as the member of the whistleblower movement, as the member of the New Federal State of China, knows about it. Because we are all grassroots. We wouldn't know the connection between those companies with the CCP members. It is only by the whistleblower movement. It is only by, MilesGUO telling us that we know. And it all happens between this bankruptcy case. That means it all happens between Paul Hastings becomes the trustee of MilesGUO, and MilesGUO was keep telling the whole world that what is happening, about Ping An, about PAG, about the CCP, and now this Paul Hastings law firm, who claimed that they have no interest of conflict with MilesGUO, the #1 enemy of the CCP, is the trustee of MilesGUO's personal assets. You know what that means? That means you gave the DOJ appointed your enemy to be the guardian of your personal assets. It means that you have already handled, the DOJ have already asked you to handle your own life to your enemy. You cannot even fight about it. That's what it means. And why? By the way, why this Yan Jia was the student of Wang Huning because you can see here, in 1993, Yan Jia, representing Fudan University, representing the China, went to an international debate competition in Singapore in 1993, and the team won the champion, which is a very, very big thing in 1993. That is only 4 years after 1989, the Tiananmen massacre. So this team, circled by this rectangular, was Yan Jia. 1993, remember that? Let's go to see here, Wang Huning. Because in this news, it was in Chinese, okay? It was in Mandarin, and it also mentioned that Wang Huning led the team who won the champion in Singapore. And in 1993, Wang Huning was never in the central government. It was only because of this international competition that makes Wang Huning famous inside the CCP. And after that, 2 years after this competition, Wang Huning was, promoted into the central government of the Chinese Communist Party. And as you can see here, in his personal profile in Wikipedia, in 1993, Wang led the Fudan student debate team to participate a Chinese language international college debate competition held in Singapore. The team won the champion. See, Wang Huning led the team, and Yan Jia is here. Here is Yan Jia, and he's here mentioned his name in Chinese. And also, if you see this picture, you would understand. You would know that they are exactly the same. And this is in 2019. 2019, Yan Jia. 1993, Yan Jia. And in Paul Hastings, Yan Jia, the partner of Beijing office. Partner of Beijing office. And by the way, this guy standing next to him his name was Jiang Changjian, was later a very famous TV program host in China. A lot of people know him. So this guy was still this guy standing next to him, from 1993 to 2019. So here we found as a blockbuster that Yan Jia was the student in Fudan University of Wang Huning. And Wang Huning, due to this competition, he got promoted into the central government. He was famous for this one. He was, the top leaders, the then top leaders in the CCP organization caught their eyes because of this competition. And things just, got natural because of this competition, because Yan Jia was one of the greatest his students. They become very, very close. And Yan Jia was the partner of the Paul Hastings, and Paul Hastings got a lot of business in mainland China. And due to the relationship between these people in Paul Hastings, they got direct communication, a relationship with the central government of the CCP, with the top leaders of the CCP. They got very, very easy to earn all those business with the state-owned company and to get all these big orders, 1.6 billion and 671 million, and that explains why. And not only Yan Jia in Paul Hastings law firm, there's a lot more other lawyers was also deeply connected to the CCP, organization, to the CCP top leaders. I don't want to show it to you one by one, but here I show you the blockbusters, the most important the point here. So now, what does this tell us? This tells us that the Paul Hastings LLP has direct conflict of interest in MilesGUO's case, and direct conflict of interests arises as DOJ appointed Luke Dispens from Paul Hastings as the trustee. And as I mentioned, let's just quickly go through by all the other connections. And you can see here, Bruno Wu, MilesGUO talk about him almost every day, literally. Bruno Wu. And also, his bank was also related to Paul Hastings here, as you can see, the yellow highlighted ones. That's why, Paul Hastings got all those business deeply connected with the CCP, which is the enemy of MilesGUO. Yeah, as you can see here. So let's quickly go through these. And another one. Another lawyer who has also, direct conflicts with PAG Group. See here. It's PAG Group led by Samway Jen, which has a lot of lawsuit case against MilesGUO. Yeah, so that's it. The point is that MilesGUO has been telling these, has been broadcasting these points, these things to the whole world almost every day. And no way that Paul Hastings, after thorough check or investigation, that they wouldn't understand, that they wouldn't know that these connections exist. They definitely should know, should have known, and they did know, but they are actually hiding things. They swear that they, based on their best knowledge, but I wouldn't believe that they didn't know about this, because these cases is too big, and MilesGUO, is a big influencer, not only in Gettr, right, but also in YouTube. That he was so big influence to the people that the YouTube has to shut him down. The YouTube has to stop him from broadcasting, and Twitter has to block his account. So in no way that Paul Hastings does not know about this. There's only one explanation, that Paul Hastings is hiding this. And also, this explains why. The weird thing in the beginning, why they change 1 week after the DOJ appoint a first trustee, why they change from the first trustee 1 week later to Paul Hastings Luke Dispens, who has directly conflict of interests with MilesGUO, who is, basically the running dog of MilesGUO's enemy. There's only one explanation, is that the system has already corrupted. During this 1 week, they have been working things around from the back. And they succeed to put someone, as MilesGUO's trustee, and this someone is definitely his enemy, so that they, together with their enemy, with MilesGUO's enemy, have already controlled his, personal assets. They already won. And MilesGUO is happy about it. Why? Because he wants to sacrifice himself in order to show the whole world what is happening here. Because what's happened is already happened, and all those things have already been put on a legal document from the DOJ. That cannot be deleted. that will be recorded in the human history, in the history of justice of the United States. And I am, excited to talk to you about this thing. As I mentioned, I cannot get this thing out of my head for the past few days. And this is my first English show. I'm not a native speaker. I've never been to the United States before. So forgive my, my English. I thought I might screw this first episode up, but I don't care. I just want to spread, our voice. Okay. I think that's it for today as my first show. Thank you guys. Maybe see you next time. Bye bye.
沧海一声笑，滔滔灭共潮。沧海一声笑，滔滔灭共潮。四海英雄聚今朝，苍天笑，花间战红刀，浪沙淘尽怒白霄。整整70年，他把中华人民主义，还让这片土地变得满目疮痍。全世界投毒制造各种生化武器，我去，他答应了人类命运共同体。3代爆料，携手占有新天道，振兴我中华同胞，兴起了灭共浪潮。壮志冲云霄，看那国旗飘飘，烈鸟接连歌唱，神州阳光普照。江山笑，血雨遥，谁负谁生出一份笑。风萧萧，人笑险如潮。排骨开眼风潮。3年多的爆料，就是跟雅思克中报实锤，每天都有一点也不嫌多。以美灭共，以共灭国，还得靠我们战友们行动。天佑我中华儿女，共建联邦新中国。黑夜显曙光，照亮东方的天。戳破公会的火焰，我准备了3世多年，越过了死亡幽谷，踏上了灭共之路。总有太多凶险，我们不往世上去路。听风笑，收归正道。一周踏浪自逍遥。苍生笑，热血万丈高。仰天长啸，知英豪。战友们豪气穿云霄，寒暑相聚在今朝。我顶峰， The voice of the world, city light, the people's die. We are real.